Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. It is a great time to be logging on and getting seeing just two Titans from Australia coming to you at a best of three final. But more importantly, it's good to be joined by my co-host now on live on camera, VonLuck. Von, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Inchon, thanks very much for hosting us here, mate. It's definitely a weird feeling being on webcam for the first time, but I'm thoroughly looking forward to this series, man. It's been a hard one, but this is going to be an absolute fight. I can guarantee that.
Well, I say this is. I think this is the besides being the best, the finale, the best of three series here. I think this is the first unveiling of VonLuck, if I know correctly. You said you just got a webcam from this, so it all
really
gets.
bought a webcam today.
I shaved my beard last time, and so now everybody's like, I guess I got to put it back in to get the beard club happening. But you know, Vaughn, you reached out to me. You said, "Hey, would you like to be able to do this finale?" And Australian time, I think it's going to be 8 o'clock p.m., which makes
it's currently 7:45, but it's definitely not p.m. for you.
no. So it's bright and early. It's currently running just a little bit of 5:45 a.m. over here. But I wouldn't miss this one. Let's talk about what the two teams that we have for us today. Vaughn, I think you're one of the best ambassadors of HFKT. Why don't you go ahead and introduce us to HFKT, who for people that maybe don't know the Australian scene.
The Australian scene in general is definitely a lot smaller than the NA scene, as is mostly in competitive scenes in gaming, at least. Basically, HFKT we kind of came about when I was playing Hella Loose, and you get that squad leader or that commander who is just fantastic on comms. You're like, oh man, I would love to do this every single game. So HFKT, for those who don't know, is holding flanks, killing tanks.
Or for us that just slaughter that acronym all the time.
Shout out to DigiShadow. But we also get HKFC, which is a bit funny as well.
Yep.
But that's a bit of a meme. But it basically was meant to be a bit of a meme name. I will change it at some point when we find something better. At one point, I was like, hey, let's just choose from this list of names, and people were like, nah, we'll stay with HFKT. I'm like, awesome, no worries.
Now, you guys are relatively new. I was going to say, formed around about a year or so. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was April last year. Yeah, it was when we came about, made the Discord server.
So, I know we've scrimmaged each other, HLLTC versus HFKT. Done some scrims, so you got some competitive, chops. Have gotten a couple battles into there. Let's talk about AIF. AIF is another Australia-based community down there, standing for Allied Imperial Forces. And they have, I think, kind of a similar type of mentality coming to this. They want it's more kind of a casual. They're not the mill sims, they're not doing that. It's that casual focused community that wants to be valuable with their gaming time, and some of that value means being competitive, improving from that scene. I expect to see both of these teams. Obviously, Vaughn, you're partial to HFKT, but I expect to see both of these teams, especially after facing each other so much. See a lot of great teamwork, a lot of great organization coming from this one. And really, this is what I love to see out of both of these, is the growth of this Australian-based competitive community as, they're going to be taken on and introducing into other competitive communities. So you got the seasonals, you got the Greyhound Cup going on right now. So I keep talking about this 2 out of 3 format, Vaughn. Can you tell me what this is and how this kind of came about, this series here?
At the start, is because the Australian scene is quite small. It's generally is very hard to get two fully fledged teams from fully fledged sides from the from the game.
Correct.
Whereas we are currently the largest 2 Australian teams. There's a few other ones. You've got the other big D affiliated teams, NRD, LAG, FBY, but who are smaller in number. So we were approached by AIF. Both teams are going through a large rebranding process. And they said, look, we really like to do some 40v40 or 50v50s. What do you want to do? And we thought, hell, that's a great way to get into competitive play, because that was really the vision of HFKT, was to get into competitive play. You're probably quite familiar with the Hell Let Loose Spectacular video over on the NPA channel. That was really the video that, for me, ignited my passion for Hell Let Loose competitive play, and to see this game.
Shout out to Godsend on the creation of that, and that battle of MPA and training camp going at each other. So got together, said, "Yep, let's go ahead and do this." You guys agreed to do 3 games or best of 3 on one single map, correct?
The first 2 games were going to be definitely this map, St Mere.
Okay.
St Mere. But then the third one was that we used the pick and ban method for the Hell Let Loose seasonal.
Gotcha.
And it just purely turned out that everybody was being super conservative, and what we picked out was this basically the start of game 1. We started off on Germans, they play as Americans, and we're on the same map. So it was really I think it was just comfort picks for everybody.
Circle back around to it. So we got St Mere Eglise. 2 games have already been played on it. 1 went to HFKT, 1 went to AIF. I think the first game went to HFKT. Vaughn, you kind of want to tell us, give us a feel for how that first game was?
Yeah, it really was a slog. It was a fight over the church proper. Okay. And actually, if we switch to my camera here, see, I'm currently over the church.
Oh, well, go ahead and switch over to that there. Perfect. There you go.
You'll see, we're in the center of the screen, we've got the church, but on the southwest side, you got the houses, and then on the left and right-hand side, you have all these gardens. So all the fighting basically took throughout these 3 areas, as well as the cemetery as well, because that was the next point.
Gotcha.
So it was really close, dirty fighting, satchels abound, grenades. One of our squad leaders ended up firing over 2,000 rounds with MP40. He was constantly in battle. It was hellish. I was in a tank in that game, and we were constantly having to deal with anti-tanks leaving on our lines. Shout out to Major Jam from AIF. He was in the 76, just one of these huge flanks around with the 76, causing trouble in the back lines and charging into St Mere. There was some really movie grade stuff going on.
So you had church going into cemetery. And what was it? What was the final score on that one?
It was 3-2 to HFKT. We held the church itself on that sector for approximately 40 minutes through very strong sector control. But then AIF decided to give it one big push through the center, and they ended up taking the church, which was fantastic. They really got through there. But then I think some of our guys, I think it was Browser, one of our dudes, was able to get a satchel inside the church before the cap was down, and ended up wiping out their squads, and we quickly capped it back.
The satchel on the church has just become the quintessential moment of the game for that point.
It was, I think, an outpost and 12 kills or something like that. So definitely, if it gets the church, I think the both sides will be using the smoke and satchel technique. Definitely.
Yep. So you got game 2, back and forth over the church at the midpoint. HFKT won on that one. Then we go into game 2. I think this was actually game 2 was after Update 9 was released, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 3 days after.
Okay. So Update 9, fresh released. Come back for round 2. What was the midpoint on that one?
Midpoint was Hospice.
Okay. So we got Hospice there. And I see you looking at it right there.
So it was definitely a far different game. AIF picked up their game and really came to town on this one. I think both teams definitely used a different approach than what they did in the first one. The AIF approach was very offensive in the first one, just bang, 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 pound on the door. Whereas this one, they're a little bit more defensive, a little bit more strategic about the placement of their squads and of their armor, whereas HFKT went on full-blown attack, and they were within 30 minutes. HFKT was knocking on the door of flak position. Sorry, not flak position. Flak position. Okay. So HFKT almost got that quick cap off, but then AIF rebounded thanks to a Red Gary, which was newly introduced only 3 days in.
Yep, developing the meta.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Major Keltith from AIF was constantly behind our lines, setting up garrisons, getting his AT in there, harassing supply routes and armor. Really did a really fantastic job, and they end up overwhelming HFKT at Hospice and moving quickly onto Cemetery.
Perfect. So, and I was going to say, from that point, I understand that AF kept the momentum going, eventually got to a 5-0 victory on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Cemetery was then the main point. They were already on there, capping while we were still trying to take Hospice. So we had a mass redeploy. But even as we were trying to counterattack into Cemetery, they were already onto the last point. Again, Keltith being the defining factor, getting that garrison up south of the last point and just flooding in. So they did a really good job of just constantly keeping the pressure up and not letting us counterattack.
Gotcha. So I appreciate that recap, especially happening right there. Let's go ahead and jump into now what could be happening on this one. And St Mere Eglise, it's no surprise that this was the map that was chosen in the pick ban, because I think from the community's perspective, this is probably one of the most equal maps for both sides happening. You already talked about Hospice, St Mere Eglise. Let's go ahead and start with this one. The center point that you haven't seen yet is Checkpoint. I want to highlight a few different areas on this one. This Checkpoint is one that does favor the Germans coming from the west side of the map, because that transport truck is down there on the spawn. But with a 2-minute introduction of the kind of warm up period, it's not as skewed anymore. You can't get a spawn of second trucks, get the supply truck down there. But this is also one of the very few strong points in this game, where really kind of the most important positions to hold is the strong point area, because of the buildings that are in there and then the open line of sights around it. And I've got that marked down in A. The second most important thing that I want to see happening for who's going to secure if Checkpoint is selected is that area marked in B, which is the northern building up there. Once again, because of line of sight, it controls so much. If you control those buildings, you're going to have a solid grasp on any offensive or defensive pressure on that point. Vaughn, I think you wanted to cut in there for a second.
Yeah, Checkpoint is definitely an interesting cap. It provides for a lot of domination for tanks as well. Right up the bottom there, you've got great line of sight going either way. It probably is a bit more of a boon for the German side, because once they're able to get into F8, they can see basically into the middle and right and bottom spawn.
Yep.
But again, being up that high does have its perils. Again, if the enemy artillery is not dealt with, a heavy artillery barrage can dislodge the tank.
Well, I think you bring up a good point. The amount of artillery that could just affect this area. And so with that, I think there's also two kind of a little bit more of a open area or look for freedom of movement positions. And that's really where it kind of coming down on the C section down here. It's a wheat field, and also this road has a decent amount of hedges or concealment to be able to come up and actually get into that strong point. And then the area marked in here in yellow, a little bit more open as far as kind of a orchard or a field coming down. But if you are able to control that area, have that freedom of movement, you're able to do a quick hop into the north part of the strong point. There's also some decent access also for the east and west points. But to me, if you got those wires, that's where I expect to see a lot of our fights happening. Let's go ahead and move up to St Mere Eglise, which lovingly referred to as the church. This is another one. Vaughn, you mentioned get the church, get the satchel charges. That church is just a fortress on the middle cap there. You have to control it. Go ahead, Vaughn.
People tend to give the church this status of, oh, we have to hold the church. We have to have everybody piled in the strong point. It is a commonly misused tactic. Because again, on the satchel on the bottom floor reaches all the way up to the top of the tower. So if you don't control the sectors or the backyards, we can call them, around church, you will lose the point.
Correct. Well, and I think you talked about that. So yeah, you got to have. I think you got to have a presence in the church because of the cap weight. There's also you have one guy up in the tower, like doing his thing up there. But you talked about being around it is just as, if not more important. The areas that I really feel like if you had to focus on, hey, we're getting pushed. What's the areas we need to control? This B side sector up to the northeast of the church. A lot of good movement coming around behind, be able to push either defenders back into their sectors if you're the Germans, or the Allies being able to launch an attack and get in that back door of the church. The second area right on the south side of church, and it's a little bit larger, but coming up from the south and then being able to smoke and get into that area. If you're able to control these areas, you really control a lot of the influence or the lines of entrance into the church. Finally, on the north side, you have that D sector there. If you control the road, especially with armor, it's really going to help move out. This is the thing, though, I'm cautious on with church, is how many teams start to fight out outside the sector with a significant amount of pressure, not just trying to get the mobility around at that point. If that happens, it's going to be interesting to see, especially as a defender, if they get too much outside of that on the north side. It kind of gets into a trap. Finally, you have hospice up on. No, I love we refer to as hot spice, but hospice up here. Actually, we just saw this one yesterday with STDB and Pi versus the 116th, and it was a slugfest. And we saw just this kind of 360-degree bubble. What wound up being not used as much. I put it out there. There's a 3-story building right there in that A sector marked on there on your strat sketch. The amount, kind of like the church, you're able to get a good couple people there. The cap pressure, hard cover, great line of sights out here to the west, line of sights up here into the wheat fields. More importantly, line of sights into the other side of the strong point and capture on there. More second points of interest, this Bravo sector. Really, I kind of almost want to say the entire south side of that road. If you're able to get in there, a lot of hard cover, a lot of kind of those nooks and crannies, alleyways, courtyards. Control those, you're going to really be able to get into that point. And then I call this the pizza slice. So if you hear me refer to the pizza slice, that's my Charlie mark up here. Hedges, a little bit of a T intersection on the road. Expect to maybe see a air supply, or not air supply, sorry, an airhead coming in. But what we're actually going to jump to, and I love seeing this, give it to the Australians starting right on time. We flip it out live here. Let's see. All right. So let's see what the point is. It is hospice. It is going to be hospice. Ooh. And looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of flyover here. We'll check out all these different points. And get to the admin. There we go. Perfect. So coming from the Allied approach, AIF, those will be the camera I'm taking on. Vaughn will go ahead and be taking the perspective of HFKT. You got Resu de Ferme. I'm going to slaughter that one. Cemetery. You talked about the good fights that are going to be happening or happened there before, but this is going to be a little different because Cemetery is now going to be joined with the middle point of Hospice. This is going to be favoring AIF with their transport truck coming there from the east. As we move over to the German side, they're going to go ahead and have to have Western approach, which there's going to have to be a lot of distance traveled. And then finally, for the Germans, they'll be defending flak position. So that'll be the 5 points for this game. Let's go ahead and move over into Hospice.
I'll get the Greyhound down in 5.
I'm going to go ahead. I love this. I swear, I love my John Madden football pin here. Let me go ahead and I want to once again show just this 3-story building. This is that building right there that whoever gets into there and secures it is going to have a significant little fortress right off the bat. And then if you're able to get both of these buildings and control all the area between this kind of checked on that point, that is a fortress to have there. Expect to see this area highly contested. We are out of the 2-minute warm-up zone now. We see a transport truck, supply truck from AIF. Vaughn, what are you seeing on your side?
So we're thundering off, and we have the supply truck coming up in C4, trying to get that quick garrison up. I'm assuming in about on the corner of D3. We also have supplies right at the top of D3 being dropped down for another garrison. They're going to try a 2-garrison approach by the looks of this.
Yep. Meanwhile, the transport truck from AIF actually surprisingly gets out a little bit early. So AIF not charging in, doing a little bit more of a conservative approach as they're going to walk into that area. Supply truck from AIF down at the bottom, building a garrison. So both teams going to be able to have that garrison right off the bat. You have, looking at AIF's perspective here, a recon take, the Greyhound dropping off to, I love seeing this, they went ahead and used the back seats for the Greyhound. Multiple squad leaders moving them through the fields. Recon tank going to be going up there. Hospice first cap pressure is actually just a sliver of AIF. Just a sliver.
Yep. AIF got a, I think they got, by looks of things, a bit of the first wave off quicker.
Yep, and that's really coming from that transport truck. Meanwhile, from HFKT, one squad leader leading the charge. Calbera.
Yep. Yeah, he was at the garrison with that truck at the start.
Gotcha.
He's Russian. Oh, he's on an OP down, and they've just spawned in that OP. It's giving him a little bit more presence in this cap.
This Calbera and Panic from AIF could be the first ones that meet each other. Calbera's coming out of the building. Let's see if they fill each other out here.
No, nothing. Well, the Panther has now moved up aggressively as well. Just needs to make sure that he has friendly infantry.
Cap progress still proceeding towards AIF. Sorry, check that. HFKT has stopped AIF's cap progress with moving to that building, and actually the first vehicle goes down for HFKT. We see an explosion over there for the west, and wow, a few more people from AIF in the actual active sector, but HFKT getting right into that 3-story, getting that ×3 multiplier on there. You see artillery coming in multiple sides.
Yeah, don't worry about it, just keep pushing in.
But for HFKT, they're actually already pushed past through this, and now they're moving out into the courtyard. Cabrera goes down, Mugshot goes down, but cap progress still continues for HFKT. Shots happening out there on the northern side. Wheatfield in active engagement. Southern side of Hospice, not too much action going on right now. For Road Rage takes down HFKT player, but cap progress still going to HFKT using that 3-story building ×3 multiplier. Also going to be in the cap progress right there. Who is that? Our Panther take. Panther take connecting. Yep.
Just using that frontal armor there, trying to make sure that there's no enemy going down that road. We also do have a 75 on the right-hand side, up at the north part, which has been marked by J Squad. There was a recon going down on the HFKT side. Also, there's a very close very close strafing run there by the side of AIF. Keltith runs into a hail of fire.
Yep. But
and then sorry, go ahead.
Hospice cap progress now over 50%. As AIF does not have an answer for that Panther right at the intersection and that squad in the center of the building. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of a look here in that building, exactly what these line of sights are that is being spotted. Actually, Bones is outside. Oh, Bones! It gets chopped down, isn't able to pop back in. Meanwhile, now, this is Mugshot's out there with his MP40, looking to get down Nightly, does connect on it. He's gonna have a few more, gets suppressed out there, has to back away from the windows. Prowler's now actually trying to clear out this 3-story. Is he gonna be able to clear it out and take down some of this cap pressure? Cap is still going towards HFKT, just seconds away. And it does flip. HFKT, 7 minutes into the game, 5 minutes after the warm-up period, does connect, but go ahead.
John, look at the tank barrel's about to ensue. The 75 has gone all the way outside of the map. It's now on the flank of the Tiger. Right up in the north, we have the Tiger, and they're now within about 50 meters of each other. I wonder if they know each other are there.
The Tiger looks oblivious. 75 knows what he's hunting for. Takes a side shot.
Oh, Tiger goes down to 75. That was fantastic. Very fine work by the AIF team. They're bringing their they're bringing their 76 out of the map edge and then quickly back in before the timer expired, getting that kill on the Tiger.
Indeed. So, cap progress, or defense 100% maintained right now by Hospice, by HFKT in Hospice. A wave of AIF players trying to come in from the north using that smoke, but 2 of them chopped down out of the 6 up there. 4 left remaining coming out of the north side. Now down to 3 as Gomez Nuts is able to connect. 4 people in on that 3-story building.
The Panther is still mid as well, holding that. Looks like he actually got a tank kill as well. Yeah, there's a dead Sherman in the middle of the road there. The Panther must have got a tank kill while we missed it.
Nope, no, that's see that right now on the screen there. So now here's going to be the question: is how quickly? Let's go ahead and do a little side map comparison. We'll put our map up here. Is looking at go ahead and switch over to your map for me, Vaughn. Looking at where our garrison positions are happening right now. So for AIF, they're back on defense. They do have 1 forward garrison, a little bit actually open in the field there. We'll check that out for the cam. But set up 3 defensive garrisons around Cemetery, so they're not going to be surprised. They've also got some of their nodes going down, currently generating 13 resources per minute. For HFKT, what's the garrison situation looking like right now, Vaughn?
Again, pretty good. They've got 1 up in the top of D3, right on the corner between D and E. They also have 1 down south in E4 in the backyards, about halfway through in E4 there. And they also have 1 western approach. And sorry, the 75 just goes down as well to the Panther, very close range.
And then the resource generations, how are they looking for resources? Are they able to get those up quickly?
Looks like the nodes are going up. We have 13 coming in for fuel, the same for manpower, and the munition node looks like it's going to be going up very soon.
Yep. So that Panther, as you just mentioned, we were in map mode, comes north, gets a little revenge for his Tiger brethren in the wheat field, but this is a dangerous place for a tank. A lot of concealment that any AIF anti-tank players can move around. You want to see some infantry supporting that tank. Looks like they are starting to come around. AIF does mark that tank. In fact, what is this? The Stewart? Ooh. The Stewart connects at distance in the wheat field from behind. Cheeky little bugger. There's my British. There's my British. So, the tank game is just going back and forth, back and forth. 76 takes down Sherman. Panther takes down a Sherman on the road, then comes up, gets on the 76, and then a Stewart, bottom of the food chain, but well positioned on the rear, is able to connect that distance. Defense still holding, though. Defense still holding. IAF, though, providing a significant amount of pressure.
We even have Sergeant Penguin Toaster's squad down in G4, trying to loop up towards the AIF garrisons. They've actually marked 1 in the building complex at G4, and it looks like they're taking it out.
Yep. And that garrison, no defense right now for that garrison, so that garrison will be going down. HFKT's offensive pressure on Cemetery is going to be coming from the north. Doing a quick scan of what's in the area. AIF already with 2 squads on the Cemetery. In fact, I see a couple engineers. Now with barbed wire and update 9 too, we have seen barbed wire effectively used to cut off some choke points. We actually see right now barricades being built in Cemetery. So AIF engineers going out making some little Minecraft defenses Getting there strong with their Minecraft game here.
Absolutely, the barbed wire. I mean, like if you've ever played an offensive game mode now, and you come across the barbed wire, even just the one that's already there on the map, the stat barbed wire, you can't get over it now. You have to go around it, or you have to go through. Like you've got to blow up that barbed wire. But it looks like AIF are mainly on the defense now. But I can guarantee you there will be quite a few probably even solo squad leaders trying to just infiltrate behind enemy lines and trying to get those rear garrisons up. You know, it doesn't take too much away from the attack, but it means that they can quickly switch over onto an OP.
Yeah,
this has been a hallmark for the past 2 games.
Right now we're looking at HFKT's perspective here in blue. Battle still happening around Hospice. Bombing run coming in. What else are you seeing up there, Von?
Also see we have one AIF squad pushing in from the north, from a garrison in the north here, trying to get into that manor building. They actually have more numbers in the direct north, and there's been quite 3 trades for them with the loss of no one. So they're actually getting through here, up in the north.
King of the North. AIF tries to be a little bit of the king of the north, and AIF, while they've got a significant amount of defense here, building that up, their attack is able to be intermingling right there with the defenders for HFKT.
If you also look the back of Hospice, you'll see Major AIF Keltith doing what he does best: get behind as a solo and try and get those garrisons up from supplies that have been dropped. Do we have any supplies where Keltith is at the moment? Back in E4, I think it is.
I don't see any supplies from the HIF perspective. I want to actually take a little bit of a look here. We might have a heroic play, early heroic play. 90 and Ollie. I love any name. Oh, Papa Kiwi takes down that heroic play from behind. 90 and Ollie. I just want to say his name again. Ollie. Goes down as Papa with the quick action. Is able to secure that. So Hospice, that bend don't break defense is in full effect right there. Now AIF try to regroup, attack from some multiple angles here.
We have in the north got Penguins up against Watchmen. He's trying to find where these OPs and garrisons are. There's a bit of a one-on-one here with Major Jam coming back in to support Watchmen.
Being covered by a tank by the looks.
Ooh. Hawks gets a kill over at close range.
And we got the first attack happening right now as Brozer is now entering the outskirts of Cemetery. He's already connected with Zekra, facing off against Dawn Light. They each know each other's there. Browser connects on Dawn, so he's chained together 2 kills back to back, 3 across at the distance using that STG with the assault class. Making some noise. Oh, and Synergy patiently waits for him to cross the open. So the first attack goes out on Cemetery. Granted, just a probing attack. Nothing effective happening there. We'll flip back over to Hospice. And what do you got up there, Vaughn?
We have Major Jam is pushing in here with the rest of his squad. I think Major Jam will be on the attack for most of this game to at least keep HFKT honest.
Yep.
So we have a garrison in the trench system as well, just across the field in the north. Yeah, we do indeed. There's in the trench system up in G3, just on the edge of the 2 lines there is a garrison.
Yeah, interesting garrison location for that one. The reason why I say interesting is, yes, it's got a little bit of cover right off the bat, but getting out of there, if HFKT realizes it's there, a simple MG can, off a glider or somewhere else around there, can just completely neutralize that garrison, pinning a lot of people down. But for right now, it's working. It's working for AIF. They're still able to apply some pressure coming in from the north side. But I really want to see, once AIF feels like they got their engineers, happening, I really want to see AIF come from the southern side and push up. I don't think I could overstate how important it is to almost kind of keep that front line push to push, or point to point. If you're able to control the shortest distance between both points and force the enemy to go wider to come outside the active sectors, it really winds up being a force multiplier.
That's it. I mean, if the enemy are not fighting in those 4 grid squares, then they're not providing cap weight, which is huge. You know, if you're in there constantly, even with their OPs and their garrisons, they're basically providing instant cap weight. We'll see here that as well that AIF 90 has got an OP next to the glider in the north, which means they're directly assaulting the cap every time they spawn in.
Yep. It's up. So AIF only 1 armor coming out of spawn. Actually, solo tank, heavy tank happening. We do see a little bit of a push happening here for AIF coming from the backside of Hospice, but HFKT using that key terrain. Papa Kiwi, we saw him shut down 1 attack earlier from the backside. Let's see if he's able to shut this from the front side. And Jacob, just running and gunning.
The satchel goes off near the glider, and Jacob gets the kill. It's a great spot for AIF to push through. It's the point of this less resistance. You've got walls on one side, walls on the other, and the big building there, so you can get into the cap point straight away. But the issue is they can't see what they're running at, and then Jacob came around the corner and just went bang.
Yep.
Sorry. We also have we had an AIF AT trying to ambush the Tiger in the field, but the Panther is on watch duty right at the back there and is able to eliminate him.
Gotta love that buddy support.
That's
friends
it.
helping friends. Cemetery still being quiet, so all action happening up there on the northbound Hospice. Currently on defense for Cemetery. You got about 2 squads. 1 HFKT squad has positioned herself on the backside or east side of Cemetery, but all contact, all action still happening right up there on Hospice.
Also, again, in the last game, if you look back towards that Panther is behind the point, you'll see AIF rogue troopers hunting the Panther. This is something that AIF did almost perfectly last game, was make sure that they had AT constantly behind the lines. They were taking out tanks, transport trucks, anything that HFKT brought up, they were taking it out. And again, you've only got 1 or 2 people behind there, so you've got a squad leader and you've got an AT. It doesn't cost that much to do it, but it maximizes the amount of force they can do and bring pain to the enemy.
Yeah, well, and AT is in a position right now with Update 9 that is probably the most powerful class in the game. They have obviously strong anti-tank abilities with their bazookas or Panther Shreks. The fact that those can also take out garrisons at range. You have an MP40 on the German side, the M1 Grand. I mean, there are a lot of utility right now by the AT class. So every squad needs to be running 1. It could just completely disrupt an enemy force.
Well, so AIF are getting some cap pressure at least going. They've got at least a squad in a bit right in near that big manor.
Indeed. But let me go ahead and say, because we've seen multiple waves of AIF come in, they've been able to connect on some kills, but one of the issues, and this is, I'm going to highlight this here, one of the issues is they'll get into this area, they'll get into this courtyard, have some cap pressure, but they don't have anywhere to go at this point once they get there. What I would actually love to see from AIF is a focus coming down here on this southern side, this sector right in there, holding this. This does actually provide some cap pressure right on the corner of that way. But what you're able to do is, yes, you're able to come up from this side, angles there. You're able to cross the street, come up there. You have a lot more freedom of movement. But as I say that, look out, because AIF now is doing exactly what I say. I swear they're not listening to me. And now has started some cap progress. Yep. And no one from HFKT is in that 3-story building. This tight squad work happened right here by Ollie Panic. A spawn comes in. Pungadas? Trying to get in. I want to see AF control this 3-story building, get in that hard cover. They do. Major Jam goes in. Ollie gets taken out by Iron Fist Historian. But the cap is on for Hospice. AIF at 30% and gaining.
Also a bit of pressure at the back of Hospice as well on the sorry, not garrison, the outposts of HFKT as well. They're gonna be careful they don't get taken out from behind.
And that cap has started to stall as the no spawn waves of HFKT players are moving in, collapsing onto that strong point, working their way from the outside in. Our AIF attackers are now in that building though, fighting for the life. And I give credit to this AIF offensive squad. They have been outnumbered as AIF has focused on multiple guys back in the defense. Now we're starting to see some of them move up into the southern part, but that attack squad, ooh, huge bombing run.
AIF bombing run, that's a good one, got a few kills there.
Yep. All cap progress has been lost, 100% back to HFKT on the cap. But the race is on. Let's go and see all these AIF defenders who was on defense are now starting to come up from the southern side. And as I said that, I only see one, but someone might get chopped down. Cap progress, another wave has now come in for AIF. And now they're back into the strong point, holding on that. We're actually going to see an engagement happening right here on the 3-story building. Local mugs could be looking through the window. Wow. And you hear AIF calling out, C push up.
Jacob just got eliminated by bot John Nicoli and Major Jam.
Yep.
I'm surprised not to see the HFKT artillery bombing this big area behind where in front of the glider in this area where AIF have been pushing through constantly.
Indeed. And you also have this tank up here and actually I just now realized HFKT has built barbed wire on that northern road. AIF has sensed that, and now that barbed wire that was meant to support HFKT is actually being more of a hindrance as it's having to all their defenders are having to move around it. This cap progress is now 50% of the way towards AIF as they're controlling all the strong point. And we have no pressure currently on hospice. All AIF activity is right there on hospice. Or sorry, no cap progress on cemetery. All activities on hospice. Our defenders from HFKT try to come in from the north, but they got that barbed wire that they put down in their way. Best defense is now coming from the southern side. Ooh, starting to see a few explosions.
It's actually a bombing run. Oh, sorry, AIF Enzo is trying to attack the tank from behind.
Artillery connect right at the crossroad, takes down 2 HFKT defenders looking to come in. And the race is on.
Might get Holly and entice.
You hear the roll of pain starting to come down. Oh, connects on to 1 AIF, but that bombing run, ooh. Bombing run relatively ineffective. Definitely shock and awe value, but not as much bite on that bombing run. As
from behind, actually a few AIF from behind, taking out the OPs of AIF from behind here.
That's critical. And HFKT now has regained defensive progress coming to the 3-story as this southern push and western side have come back in, supported by our 3 heroes of HFKT over here on the glider. You just mentioned getting those OPs. Watchman coming in is able to get fried chicken off the top of the glider, getting his fried chicken to go. And I want to check right now.
Close range with the 42 Glomez.
Yep. So all that cap is starting to stall. IF take is starting to move up. That's one thing we really haven't seen too much. The take battles in this match have really been take on take. We haven't seen too much combined pushes yet. I think the team that's able to get that timing correct is going to definitely have an advantage. But at this point, hospice has now been settled. A high intensity moment there for HFKT. Cemetery, need a quick look at that. Cemetery still being defended by a squad reinforced. I think AIF would have loved to see some more guys come in on that push, help secure it a little bit more. Their attacker is doing a great job, but HFKT overwhelming them.
Attention to top. There's currently an AIF tank pushing in, being attacked by multiple HFKTs, being absolutely swarmed. See, near the glider, the tank is now trying to run. He's going to be still facing 2AT. It's being marked by my M squad as well, so he's definitely out of there.
He has realized that he's in a bad situation and mobility is key. Now the question, actually surprisingly, he's kind of moving a little bit further forward. And now that tank has repositioned. Ooh, we hear a ricochet from an AT round right off the front.
The AIF are actually pushing through the southern gardens as well. You see Westy, Major Jam, and Major Payne working together.
Love to see that southern push. But at this point for AIF, they have lost their offensive garrison. Let's go ahead and actually check the map here on a side-by-side. Go ahead and pull back up your map for me, Vaughn. So they've lost their offensive garrison. Our squad leader up here, Seymour, looking to reestablish it. They do have supplies down here to launch a second garrison. It might be within 200 meters, not quite to this other one. Now, here's something we haven't seen, though, from AIF, is a red zone garrison. And I want to point out this opportunity. If our defenders are able to build a red zone, or sorry, our attackers from AIF is able to get this red zone garrison on the southern side of Hospice, keep that push coming from that southern side, and wind up taking Hospice, that red zone garrison down like around E5 section on western approach near that could quickly allow a chain reaction cap. Hospice jumping right into western approach. But so far, no red zone garrisons. Any red zone garrisons for you from the HFKT side?
Yeah, Rog.
I don't believe so. I think looks like HFKT are taking a defensive approach.
I see one red zone garrison on your map. Right there.
Oh, sorry. You're
H5.
Wow.
I got keen eyes, buddy. I got keen eyes.
Yeah, you're like a hawk.
So, one red zone garrison is active for HFKT, but after seeing the AIF push be really successful, they're having to keep their defense honest. So that garrison hasn't been able to be leveraged as much as they want. We see some limited engagements happening on the southern side.
100%. Definitely pushing up from the south now. Like this is actually almost a mirror of what they did in the last game. They tried to get in from the north, and they failed at that. So they're moving from the south. They're really moving in mostly unopposed. HFKT has now taken this north side, and they're actually pushing further out towards the northeast. But I don't think they really realize where the main AIF push is coming from. This could be a type cap.
Yep, so you have engagements happening on this west side, or west side of the road. Engagements happening on the east side. But what I'm really curious is this squad. I love this play. This three-man team that's worked their way up and come in behind here. If they're able to get into there, possibly find some spawns, that could be really devastating. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's leading this charge. It's Major Jam. We've said his name multiple times. Bot John coming over the side connects. Two HFKT players are down, and actually Major Jam's making his play for the three-story building. It's just so hard to get somebody out of that building once they're there. Would love to see HFKT, you know, at this point, get some engineers, throw down some AP mines. What they are doing with their engineers, building up more and more of that barbed wire.
There's actually a recon going down by HFKT, and they looks like they're now moving to cover that southern side, but they are outnumbered at least 3-1.
Yep, significant pressure coming in behind that point. Meanwhile, three defenders from HFKT engaged, trying to get back that three-story building. Their offensive wave coming from the west. AIF gaining some map control here, which is critical.
Also, looks like they're pushing a tank from the church proper. Or sorry, shooting halfway down the checkpoint all the way up the road. Yeah, AIF are definitely in control of these southern gardens. Monty and Kurt Eldridge are trying to skirmish with them. Smashed Avocado moving up towards Rogue Trooper Watchman. Might get the OP. No, he gets hit. Some nice trades for AIF in the past couple of minutes.
Yep, and you know, at a certain point, once you get into this this situation, you gotta winning those gunfights, chaining together a couple 1v1 victories. You get one, you get another one, you get a second one. It can really start to add up.
We actually have a tank fight from the main road. The Tiger is down from the the 76.
And I was trying to find this tank here, Ruin and Hanos. I mean, at distance, roughly 500 meters. Is able to connect on that. Good patience there by that 76. Taking down that Tiger. And now, AIF have really taken control of this back part of Hospice as the defenders have been pushed to the front. And just with that, as they get into the three-story building, AIF has regained cap progress. about a 10%. Now the HFKT defenders realizing, uh-oh, they're behind us. This is really good. You got Watchman, Enzo, Panic on the southern side. Now all these defenders, once again, are having to cross this barbed wire that they put up. NT connects with Bayu. Panic coming around the side, takes down Cabrera on the bottom right of your screen. 3 defenders go down. Yep.
This might be a cap from AIF. HFKT are in a bit of all sorts at the moment.
Yep, and then with that called out, we said we got a cap race as Cemetery. Vaughn, I'll let you stick on Hospice. Feel free to call it anything, but looking back here at Cemetery, Cemetery is being triggered, although HFKT is behind on the cap.
Yeah, but as someone said, there's no such thing as a cap race unless you're defending and attacking both in equal measure. At the moment, I think there's a few good trades here for HFKT. There's only 3 left of that initial push, but the 76 is rushing the cap.
Yep. And AIF, I'm just looking here at the defense. Definitely keep an eye on there on Hospice, see the cap process. But AIF's able to do this as they still are maintaining 2 full squads here back on Cemetery. So AIF realizing how critical it would be if they lost that second point, their ability to generate resources, is staying true to the defense. Looks like, oh, is that AIF attack starting to stall a little bit? Yep, looks like the another spawn wave of HFKT coming in from the northern side did apply enough pressure, or am I just seeing things, Vaughn?
Nope. Well, the main mana building has almost been taken back for HFKT, but we do have Major Jam, who again we spent his name. He's got an OP right out the back of Hospice, but he might lose it with Zhang Ganger, who you are quite familiar with.
Yeah, I've had him out a guest on the show.
The show, we got Iron Fist and Kurt and Roxo also engaging Major Jam in his outpost. They've also recognized where it is and put a mark up. So this is a good counter attack by HFKT towards the back of the point.
Yeah, I like this mobility, flexibility. Get everything back here on defense, realizing they're in a bad situation early, and getting those numbers back in. And here's just the issue right now for AIF is, by keeping so true on that defense, not being able to move up there, still no red zone garrisons by AIF, is they're not able to leverage any spawns back there defense to hop back up and get those numbers. AIF or HFKT, both with a defensive and offensive garrison, is able to bounce these players back and forth.
Well, the AIF are getting relatively having an easy time getting back into that cap point as well.
Yep. So, wow, man, they're hovering right around 50%. And in fact, AIF now with those last couple spawn waves, you talked about how easy they're going to get in. They're able to get in the strong point, get that ×3 multiplier. So while the HFKT defenders are outnumbering, that ×3 multiplier is adding up, and AIF approaches 60% cap. Enzo out here in the field looking to cut down Body. Body just says no, takes down a few of them.
Satchel was brought down on the manor and wiped out everybody in the manor. What a play!
Critical play. Did you were able to see whose satchel that was?
I don't know whose satchel it was, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's Candy Rocks around here. She likes hers. Or it might be Penguin. I'd have to check later on. But again, what a fantastic satchel. But again, it's only temporary. There is AIF OPs in these backyards, which will keep a constant pressure. There's 2 full squads here.
Let's go ahead and zoom out. So yeah, the AIF defense or offense has really been led from that southwest corner of Hospice, getting in, anchored by that 3-story building, and then supported from the right side as these squads have taken multiple attack angles. Really the mark of a maturing offensive team here. And I think, ooh, here comes a bombing run. HFKT bombing run, cutting off that southern side. Albeit it might be temporary, but that might just be what enough is happening. HFKT, I was gonna say, I know exactly what they were thinking with that barbed wire, but that barbed wire has wound up doing more harm than good as they're trying to get back into this point from the north. Cap progress has stalled for AIF, albeit it might be temporary as multiple people get in here. AIF, for the most part, granted, it's not by a large margin, but AIF has been winning a majority of these gunfights. 1v1s, but HFKT just swarming, working as a team, getting each other's backs. Another bombing run now. Oh, is this bombing run able to take out that garrison? Vaughn, you gotta let me know if that takes out the garrison.
Yeah, I think it did, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it took out.
And that's gonna be huge, because that northern side's been the majority of the defenders coming back in the northern side. And actually, as we see this pocket in the north, now you have an AIF squad now coming in for the north, possibly losing some of these southern OPs, as HFKT has moved back down, controlled a little bit more of the map. 100% defense back to AIF. And yeah, woo.
One thing is impressed with the AIF squad is they take an angle, they push it. If it doesn't work for them, they immediately switch to another one. So they've been from the north to the south, and they're now in the north again.
Yeah,
I'm very, very impressed with the flexibility of this team.
agreed. And just to go ahead and keep action. All HFKT has come back on defense. There's no offensive pressure right now in Cemetery, but AIF has also adjusted. Instead of 2 squads back here on Cemetery, they've set one up on the front lines. We got one coming from the south. You got one coming from the east, and an AIF squad coming from the north. So multiple angles happening. It's going to be intense. Really looking forward to this one. And as I say, this did not disappoint so far. We're approaching the 40-minute mark of the match. Hospice was taken at the beginning here by HFKT right around the 7-minute mark. It's gone back and forth with some cat progress as AIF has been able to get some success in the strong point, but just been able to be swarmed by the entire HFKT as they've committed to either defense 100% to offset AIFs, which really has only kind of seen about 50-60% offensive pressure as they balanced up. And with the other percentage of that, they've been fortifying the cemetery. So now as they feel comfortable with that point, you know, we'll be starting to see these more attack angles. Looking at resources though, because this might be, as we get into these long strung out battles, right now, I appreciate you pulling up your map there, Vaughn. AIF is down to 29 ammunition, only generating 13 per minute, so missing out on a couple nodes there. Their fuel's at 110. Meanwhile, you look at HFKT 574 fuel. So winning the fuel advantage, which means you're going to be able to keep tanks up longer, have more tanks, and 271 ammunition. So the advantage of having those nodes up on that third line, having that midpoint at the beginning, is starting to add up and compound here for HFKT. The attrition effect, I don't know how many more good pushes we're going to see with AIF, with the combined arms of bomb and run and those takes as we get past this 40-minute mark. So interesting to see here.
Yeah. So there's been the main push from AIF is still in the north. It looks like it's one of the standout players of both matches was Anti-Do in the north on that machine gun. That is his patented weapon. He is an absolute monster, and he's currently holding down that north flank almost one-handedly. He's up in that little laneway right up north, just constantly putting the suppression fire. That's one thing that I find that most players don't realize, is that just because you can't see the enemy doesn't mean you can't shoot them. And suppression in this game is fantastic.
And here's the benefit of
Sorry,
being wide of the... No, you're fine. I was gonna say, benefit of being a dad at 6 a.m. in the morning. A little 3-year-old daughter just came in to see what daddy was doing awake so early. So, looking at everything here on Hospice, defenders from HFKT have felt where those pressures were coming from. There's 2-prong attacks on each side, on the north and south side of the open field. They're pushing out. I always love to see defenders push out of the strong point, try to gain as much map control as possible. We're seeing that happen. Here on the south side, no immediate pressure coming in the active sector on the south side. So that's a great work by HFKT.
Yeah, the trades I feel in this match so far, the individual trades have gone to AIF. Their gunplay in this game so far has been just on point.
And speaking of gunplay, Major engagement happening on the south side as this AIF strung out in a long line is trying to sweep through, but a couple HFKT defenders, which did become attackers here, Bordos and Penguin Toast. Bordos connects on 2 out of 3, doesn't see Major Pain from AIF, and they're going to continue to push through. Major Pain is a squad leader. Oh, just passes an OP, which allows 2 more to come in. So while they think that southern area is clear, a few more have come in behind them. And AIF continues a slog up from the south. We do see an element from AIF going around wide. I love seeing this, possibly trying to find some of those launch garrisons. Very smart move over here by Shorty and Andy. Using every little bit of that grass, though, as they lay down in the prone there.
You can go on my OP, and then we'll move forward.
So southern push still continuing to come. We have a eastern attack happening over here on Hospice, right on the road. Really narrowed down now because as they've lost that northern pizza slice, as I like to call it, they're going to be forced to focus on the south side. Can't expose too much on the north, as those defenders on the north side will be able to shoot across that field.
Just moving back into place now.
Yeah, so it looks like AIF are trying their southern push yet again. See if they can get through there. It was worked quite well for them last time. They can try and cover those, take control of those backyards. It really does give them a nice close push for which they can constantly keep the cap pressure up. It's all about constant cap pressure. Looks like yet again, HFKT have lost a tank behind enemy lines. AIF Andy and I think Rogue Trooper before were doing just staying behind the enemy lines like they have done in the previous game, constantly harassing the tanks moving up.
Indeed. Now, as we're saying this, that red zone garrison that has not been discovered by AIF has now been leveraged as we see an offensive squad from HFKT moving in on the east side of Cemetery. No action yet, so all action still up there at Cemetery, but this HFKT team is looking to put themselves in position here.
So there's it's like in the southern part of this cap, we've got Major German moving up as the squad leader. We've got a few of the HFKT guys, like Kurt Geldridge leading the charge as the squad leader as well. A few nice nice trades here with Monty in these houses. Finally gets taken down by Jam.
Now, here's something I really haven't noticed too much, and we haven't called out. I was just seeing this 45 minutes in. We really haven't seen airheads being leveraged, or this airhead spawn being leveraged by either team here. It's just been a slugfest, just down in the trenches. Squad versus squad battle here in the city, here in Hospice.
But I would say that it looks like HFKT are taking a lot more of a defensive approach, more like they did in Game 1. Of course, the problem with an airhead, which is less so in a match like this, is that generally a lot of your players will leave defense and go onto an airhead. Sorry, just as we went through that, AIF Prowse with the 30 cal just took out 3 HFKT players by himself on the glider.
Wow.
4, taking them with Jaeger. What a play. That might be player of the match right there. Takes out 3/4 of a squad. Well done, Prowse.
Indeed, indeed. So now AIF starting to we saw they have success on that southern side. They've worked up, albeit cautious, methodically have come up from the southern side. Now positioned to strike at the heart of the strong point once again here. One main squad over here on the east side, led by Major Pain. Nope. One squad led by here, Major Pain, coming up from the south side as they're looking to put some pressure in. We also have one in Trice, possibly working their way around. Connects on Kiwi, connects on Kendrick, gets 3 shots on there on Mugshot. So applying some back pressure, we could start to see some cap pressure. In fact, we do right now, as AIF with bodies in the area, in the active sector, and with some in the strong point, are right around that 10% mark. And it is decreasing a little bit here. As a few more defenders spawn in from HFKT. What do you see on your side there, Von?
See, definitely, AIF are a lot more strung out now. They're trying quite a few different angles. They're at the back of the point, they're in the south, they're again in the north, well, I suppose, southeast part of the north cap, if that makes any sense. But you also see HFKT also have a sniper behind the point, Roxo. He just got taken down, but he's been causing a bit of issues with the AIF players trying to get through there.
Supply truck
But
down.
ultimately, they do get through, and they are flanking wide.
Yep. So AIF's attack progress has been restored by HFKT, but there is some probing elements still around here. As we see Panic coming in, working his way around the backside, he gets chopped down. AF elements, last AF element in the strong point right around that 3-story, also gets chopped down. Lights. And hell of a battle so far. Really enjoying this.
Definitely, it's a lot of close quarters battles going on here. I still think AIF are getting at least 60% of these one-on-one trade. Which, and despite HLLTC being a game which, in the need of teamwork is very important, but also shooting straight does help. Does help your team.
Very much so. At the end of the day, you gotta put down more of them than they're putting down of you. So
That's control and shooting people.
indeed. So it looks like just a little bit here. Von, your stream has locked up for me. See if you can refresh that for me 1 second here as I take over control. Looking at here at Hospice. AIF continue to we talked about AIF for this match has been winning a majority of the gunfights around here, which has allowed a smaller attacking force to gain ground against a larger defending force. But as I say that, Jaeger comes up and takes down 2 AIF members, and it's just probes at this point. Cemetery, we're gonna check back on here. We do, speaking of probes, HFKT now, the 1 full active squad now going against 1 defensive squad from HFKT, and now the HFKT says won a couple of those fights, outnumbers our defenders, and HFKT for the first time in the match now is beginning some cap progress on Cemetery. 4 defenders spawned on that last wave. Automonian is in a great position to chop down a few of these guys. He gets on 1. Connects on a second one. A third one. Just like that. AIF now is down to 1 defender. A few more spotted in from the north side. But this strong point heavily threatened right now by HFKT. By a small attacking force. Go ahead.
Sorry, but the stream should be up again, mate.
Perfect. Let's go.
For you, but, it looks like there's a full squad. Major Pain squad has come back on defense. It's like Penguin Toaster's squad has caused them to move back.
Well, we actually have, speaking of defense, you have the Tiger now moving right in, getting up close and personal. Zerka also coming in, so cap progress from HFKT is stalled as AIF flexes more of their individuals back on defense there. Strafe Red also gets pushed down from, I was gonna say, not sure whose Strafe Run that was. Bomb and Run coming down from HFKT, looking to clear out, support some of their attackers with some fire and explosions.
Oh, 75 goes down on the point.
Woo! 75 goes down as that Tiger hiding in the bushes right there. And actually, the Tiger gets a satchel, but satchels are not what hits the Tigers at update 9.
He's being surrounded by AT though. He's got Schwasty and Stronsky, the two ATs with the Stronsky coming from behind. I wouldn't say this Tiger's long for this world, my friend.
Padawan also looking to make his move here. Connects, and Tiger, like you said, not long for this world, is able to get down. Let's see if Padawan's able to switch over to his main rifle, see if he's able to connect with a few here. And I actually love fighting over this cemetery. I love the outside of it. Actually, he connects down on 2. Is that going to be enough to start the cap progress? It is, along with a couple other support from HFKT, or members on offense. So AIF now on their back heels, but still having some spawns coming in. Misfit, Dawnlight, and Scrooby still coming in off of an OP there on that quick timer, 20-second timer on that OP, able to offset these aggressive plays by HFKT. And with that said, the cap progress has been regained by AIF.
They're actually starting to take hospice.
Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Flip over there. And as you said this, AIF with control of the strong point. Yep, putting their attack to good attackers to good use here. And we've seen HFKT, flex back in mass on the defense when it's counted. Let's see if they're going to be able to do this quick enough as AIF is approaching the 50% point. We see a OP spawn right on the southern side of your screen. It's going to be critical for HFKT not just to charge in right away, but fill out, try to cut down some of those spawns. But look at this is also a little thing I want to point out here. A little bit different from the other attacks that we've seen, as HFKT has been coming in from the west side, northwest here. We see an element also coming on this side, and then that same secret sauce. OP's happening here, and we saw some offensive pressure happening. So their offensive pressure happened from the bottom right. So they're attacking from all angles, and it's all about getting into that 3-story, which is providing that cap pressure there. AIF now approaching 75%, a healthy spawn from HFKT on the very northern garrison. That garrison has just been a lifesaver for HFKT this entire match.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you want to see this northern window here be used a little bit more in this 3-story building. And one reason why it may not be able to use is HFKT knows the importance of that and suppressing anybody up there. We do have a bar by a trice trying to come through. We'll see if we get another satchel charge. Defensive pressure has been regained, so that cap progress by AIF is degrading down to 50%. Gonna need to see some more spawn waves from AIF or some gunfights by them to be able to regain some of this cap pressure, as HFKT is swarming once again. And is it Puganas? Let's see if Puganas gets down that satchel. I think he was the one that did it before. Oh, speaking of getting down, he goes down and he makes a beeline for that building. Cap progress continued to degrade for AIF.
Yeah, they're still in that building, but they're definitely having some issues trying to hold on.
Indeed.
The defense from
AIF winning enough gunfights now that they have regained cap progress, but at this point it's just spawn wave after spawn wave. Their spawn comes in from HFKT. Still, well, I was gonna say we got one red zone garrison down at the very southern edge, and this is going to be critical because now these defenders from AIF can become offensive as soon as they enter this area and actually help offset some of these defenders from HFKT that are up on the northern side. Speaking of defenders, HFKT has regained, so AIF cap progress continues to degrade. Go ahead, Von.
Yeah, no, definitely having that attacking garrison basically inside the sector just gives them that constant cap weight, where HFKT have to be looking behind their back going, geez, they're constantly attacking us with a constant cap point. We need to find this garrison.
Indeed. So we're going to go ahead and refresh there. Gotta love live streams. Perfect. So now, Vaughn, we got your stream back up and active and running. Appreciate that. You gotta love how worldwide this game is. One guy over here in East Tennessee, America, way too early in the morning, watching two Australian communities clash it out for the best of 3. Remember, this is the final of 3 series. HFKT won the first one, 5-0. Sorry, 2-3. AIF came back, won the second series 5-0 after update 9. And what we're seeing right now is really a battle of two teams that know each other, respect each other, and we're just gonna fight like dogs not to give each other any ground that they didn't earn.
Ruin towards you, mate. I'm gonna put a marker for you. I don't know what's there.
So HFKT, no cap pressure. Everybody back from defense. AIF staying strong with one defense squad. But I do like this southern garrison by AIF that's allowing these individuals to come in from the southern side. All battles. Oh man, we got a firefight happening right now in the courtyard. Lights going out. In fact, we just caught the tail end of that as Kenny and Mad Dog X get chopped down as defenders from HFKT looking to push down south, running up against Knightley. Connects on one. Pell let loose, coming around the side. Oh, right in the corner. Block's going over. Oh, gets chopped down from both sides. Bodies just piling up on those little breaks in the wall. So it's up close and personal as these squads now within grenade range of each other are making their presence known. We're seeing the same attack avenue. I'm going to highlight this here from AIF. They're working it again. Not just sticking in this courtyard, but we see this probing attacks coming around and they're working their way on the backside. This has worked for them time and time again as these guys, I'm assuming some of their best shooters are working on this probing attack. Keltith now coming in the backside. What do you see on your part there, Von?
Yeah, well, just for the trades in this southern area of Hospice are just brutal. Trade after trade, each team getting good trades and bad trades. Then Keltith, yeah, he's being sneaky. He's pushing past Roxo, going towards Mugshot and Bow. If they'll be able to see him, they need to stop him from getting that OP up and transferring people back to his squad. But same with VK. VK kills Roxo. It's a nice little trade for them.
And that red zone garrison by AIF far enough away that as these and their OPs are in front of it, that the HFKT defenders are not able to push down far enough south to lock it. So AIF at a strong point. In fact, how strong is it? Strong enough that they're beginning to get some cap progress. Not all the cap progress we've seen before is really strong point control, but this is the first time in the game where we've actually seen a cap progress being by an active sector point. And with another spawn wave of HFKT, that cap progress is lost. It was nice while it lasted.
I'm not sure it's finished. They have a huge push from the south and a small one from the north, and the Tiger is currently being engaged by a 76. And it's down.
Yep. Right on that northern side, and as soon as it goes down, you called it. Cap progress for AIF now is increased, and Entice going against Papa Kiwi here in the house. Actually gets down a few of them on the road. Oh!
Papa Kiwi with the trade.
Yeah, well, Papa Kiwi just looking right through that window, and Entice didn't stand a chance. Panther's now up where that Tiger was. Let's see, where was that 76?
It's all the way at the back there.
Yep, all the way in the back. So doesn't quite get the sights right now on that Panther, but you know he's going to be stalking it out as AIF is going to be calling out all these tanks. Cap progress now for AIF approaching 40%. And remember, this, unlike the previous attacks, this is mostly a sector cap, not necessarily a strong point cap. Although this sector cap is now, as they move into the southern point, starting to get more and more people threatening that. AIF, this is... Yep, go ahead.
Just almost stumbled upon the HFKT garrison in the north.
Well, and for, you know, this is going to have to be it. For AIF, they are down to 5 fuel. Granted, they got enough takes to maybe have another tank battle, but you know they're going to be, there's going to be no more artillery, no more bombing runs. This is all have to be on the backs of their squad leaders and squad members to do it. And so far, it's working as AIF now approaching 80% point. Who does have ammunition left, though, is HFKT as they throw down a defensive bombing run. You know it's never a good day when you're having to bomb your own defensive point. Woo! I did not see what just happened, but a spawn wave from HFKT, half of it gets drained and eliminated from the map as AIF now is approaching 90%.
Yeah, they're gonna get this cap, and they already have it over a squad's worth at Western Approach.
They do. Now that red zone garrison for AIF did go down, but northern push coming in, still control of the strong point by the 3-story building. Another southern push coming in from a squad size. HFKT is coming in on the west side. Oh, huge spawn wave. Here's going to be the battle right now. Wow. Major Jam did not realize how much was just coming over him as anti-True HFKT laying down the law with his MG there in hipfire mode and allowing the rest of the defenders to move in. And cap progress, oh my god, AIF so close, right around 90%.
So close.
But the swarm of HFKT coming in and once again working everything.
Artillery kills the spawn wave of HFKT, and Panic and Westy are going for that Gary.
And they might just get it after that last spawn wave. If they take down this garrison, Panic runs past the garrison.
Oh,
Panic
no.
runs past it. They back up this garrison behind this Belgium gate, and both these individuals, oh, they're gonna watch this, and it's gonna be disheartening for them to see that. So that garrison wide open for the tanking does not get realized, and wow, missed opportunity there for AIF.
Okay, I'm just having a few technical difficulties here, Inchon. I'll just be back in a tick, mate.
Perfect. So we're looking at it right now. You got HFKT full defensive mode, which I don't blame them. They were down only about a sliver, maybe 5-10% of the cap left, but they were able to swarm in. Intense fight happening here. Panther take, working his way down south, trying to cut as much of that road access happening down there. He is able to connect on one. I do like this barbed wire. Gonna be his rear towards the half wall, supported by barbed wire. Gonna be hard for an AT guy to work his way around there. We're on the north side of Hospice, looking south right now.
Oh, dodgy's southern attacking gas going up.
Southern side of it is still the main push here for AIF as they're looking to clear on there. HFKT defenders also going to be challenging on the south side here. And this is that up close in front fighting we love to see. Hawks working his way around the back courtyard. Ollie being cautious. Swiftshirt coming around the south side, connects over with Enzo. Ollie though hits him back up. Broccoli on the other side of the courtyard throws out a nade. And Hospice still 100% defense, but man, that northern garrison, missing that northern garrison could have completely turned the tide on this one. AIF down to generate 18 per minute, and then it says tick back up to 30, so looking to possibly save up for a bombing run. They do have a red zone garrison. They actually got 2 red zone garrisons. Majority of their attack though coming on the west side of the point. We've seen them get some success for this, but since they haven't been able to take down that northern garrison, the spawn wave of HFKT has just been overwhelming all their attackers. Really a great back and forth happening right now.
Yeah, it's definitely they were so close to capping that. There's a rogue trooper is actually just still behind near that garrison, trying to block it.
Yep. Now, is it actually locked right now?
It's not. It's just hot at the. Just hot.
Just hot.
Not. Just got. But if he moves a little bit closer, you might block it out.
So you see Anti-Drew trying to figure out where these guys are, putting down that blind fire. You know he's got the call out. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just having issues with the stream.
No worries.
Have a check for me.
If it was a perfect show, I'd be scared. So, AIF continue to make the push from the south as much as possible. Some individual engagements happening on both sides. One goes to HFKT, one goes to AIF, happening intermittently throughout this. You're gonna be waiting for who's gonna be able to make a hero play here. It's not gonna be Bot John as he gets taken down by Swift. You know, at this point, with the way HFKT swarming AIF defenders don't know where to look. Are they looking in front of them? Are they looking behind them? That's exactly what you want to see from your defenders, not just going to the strong point and then working their way in, out, coming around, creating confusion for our AIF attackers, and really cutting up them from linking together, synergizing. There it is, nice little Harvard buzzword there for you. Their attack. So we got do have a squad size element from AIF in the bottom right corner. There is one AIF player in the 3-story right on Hospice. Who is that? That's Major Jam. We've said his name multiple times from today. Oh, comes in right as Kendrick, but underneath the desk, takes down Major Jam. And then we still got one AIF player on the backside here, AIF Shorty, looking for some rear shots with the Thompson. A little bit harder at range, gets suppressed on that window. He's going to have to go ahead and back out of there.
Lost the Gary H5.
Cemetery, still no threat over there on Cemetery. Hospice, main focus of action right now. HFKT, majority of their forces dedicated to defense. Armor staying close as now we actually have a Panther tank covering the south side. Tiger tank has moved back up on the previous corpse of his Tiger. In fact, we actually see two corpses and a third one here. 76 no longer threatening him there, so he's feeling comfortable about that position. Who might be threatening him though is Swishy. Let's see if Swishy's able to get around.
When we push in,
Pushing up from the south again.
squad to go west, the squad to go north.
Just hearing
Quite
over
heavily,
here in
actually.
command chat. AF call it out. One squad to go push from the south, one's push from the north. No offensive launching garrisons right now. In fact, they did lose their red zone garrison. So everything is focused right now on the OP pushes, which has a little bit more vulnerability. Ooh. Larry Joe Burr connects on Brizzle. I didn't quite see the full name there. Loki sees that, waiting patiently for this shots to happen. Hawks hearing the shots, possibly the footsteps, being cautious around the side here.
Taken down by enemy on Bravo.
Ooh,
Is down.
Larry connects on another one there, strings together 2 kills. Cap still being maintained by HFKT, and we're at the 21-minute mark on this. Remember, at Warfare mode, it takes 2 minutes to cap, so roughly we're at 19.5 minutes for AIF to begin the cap. And there's no overtime in this game mode. And at this point, Vaughn, I think HFKT is just content with just holding on to the midpoint, making that their victory condition.
Yeah, I think if they can just keep AIF out of that strong point and just force them as much out of the sectors as they can, they'll win the game. But I'm not sure what's the resources looking like for AIF.
AIF, they're down to saving up. They're at 60 ammunition. Nobody back there on artillery. 70 fuel. So they're going to be able to get one more heavy tank out here. Have another bombing run for a push. Although I would say you want to get their artillery back there. It's the most efficient use of ammunition at this point in the game. Ron looking to come in on the west side. I mean, AIF has just been able to get into and throughout this map find these creases in Hospice, but they just haven't been able to get enough pressure to get over to the final mark as HFKT just in mass comes back and sweeps as much as they can.
Fried Chicken is actually in the south, down trying to find the enemy OP that's been at command and mark.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm still experiencing some difficulties. You might not be able to see my screen there, mate. But it was just slinking around trying to find where their garrison is for the attack.
Or he's heading the east side of the point.
All right.
VK is also up north. VK is also up north, trying to get that an OP up behind HFKT lines. They know where the garrison is in the north as well, so he's kind of pushing up there by the looks of things.
Perfect. And let's see, we got your stream back up, so we're back and running for there when you call out something. One squad leader right here, Penguin Toaster, feeling this pressure coming from the southern side. See if he's able to connect through this door here.
See, VK is now running directly for that garrison. He knows exactly where it is. Wonder if Anti-Do and Shazza can keep him away from it.
Sergeant Toaster connects on a few of them, clears out that southern side. Whatever AF squad is down there is there no longer because of Penguin Toaster's excellent gunplay.
VK is running towards the HFKT garrison on top. Can Shazza try and get him? Doesn't know he's there.
They finally find it. They finally find the garrison. Oh!
Shazza just too late.
Yeah,
That could be-
Shaza takes it. And this is the moment. This is the moment that AIF hasn't had this entire game. HFKT with no garrison in the northern side Are they able to string some things together? And this is going to be the hard part, because while they don't have any garrison on the northern side, for HFKT, AIF has no spawns on the southern side, so all their attack is having to come from the east. They do got one Juliet or squad over on the backside. Ooh, Tiger tank goes down there. Yep. This is a tenuous position.
HFKT need to take control of this northern sector. They've expanded all the way into the south, but they're now giving away the north.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and pull up the side-by-side here. I want to check our spawn comparisons here.
HFKT have a garrison in the top of E4 leading into E3, but they also have that one in D3. They're going to need to push in from D3 across the field where Anti-Do, Shazza, and Iron Fist are to take control of that sector. They can't allow AIF to get a red zone garrison up in F3. They can't allow them to push through there. It's the point of least resistance. If they can run along that road where M attack markers, so Kelbra, they can go directly into the point, which is exactly how they took the game, the second cap on Hospice last game. They had a red zone garrison up, they went through that laneway and straight down to Hospice. So it's good to see HFKT moving to address that situation.
Agreed. And we see still some probing attacks coming from the east side, but getting chopped down left and right. Here comes that is going to be a AIF bombing run coming in.
It takes out his own man, Major Jam.
Yeah, and really it connects on a few other ones, but I think that bombing run might have been a little too early, as no infantry is really able to come in behind it. At least not in pressure. Oh, Knightley trying to hold back in there, but Fried Chicken comes in, and as Fried Chicken gets down him, Swishy comes around the other side. Just 1v1s coming back and forth. Swishy didn't come around as he realized the threat. He lines up, connects quickly on JNL 81. Looking at the opening, holding everything. Ollie takes a blast from Swift Sir, but it isn't enough to take him down. Swishy hears that, throws out a nade. Whoa! Swift says, I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. That nade actually from Swishy connects on one more, and Swish having to fall back. Ooh, this gunplay.
Is on the focus where the enemy are pushing in. They're pushing through this near the glider. The HFKT artillery has now started firing there. If they can lock down in here and suppress them while HFKT move up, they might be able to repel this attack.
So here's the moment, right? This is the moment if I was the commander, where I'd throw that bombing run down on the western side. You got multiple squads into the area. No cap progress though yet. As that southern... Ooh, yes. Ooh, that southern point of Hospice now fully in control by HFKT as more squads move into the area. So the AIF attackers now regulated to the top right quadrant of Hospice. Although I was gonna say, you see some attempts for individual heroic plays trying to happen. Kenkai, whatever. Gets chopped down in the road, trying to get on the backside of that Hospice area. HFKT defenders continuing to move out on the southern side, meeting another spawn wave of AIF players coming in. We are down to 14 minutes left in the game. Yeah, 15 minutes rounded. Synergy and Major Pain looking to lead his squad. Jacob going straight into the defense, trying to push that defense as far out as he can. Actually cuts down Major Pain.
There's still the frontal human wave attack by AIF, which may be a concentrated effort just to try and get that cap. They're so far behind on resources now. We've now got 436 munitions with 43 coming in per minute.
Now here's an opportunity. Just checking this out on the map. You do have one squad leader, VK, haven't mentioned his name, that they've been able to create a little stockpile of resources over here. If he's able to get a red zone garrison behind this area and make it active, that could be a game changer.
Absolutely.
Happened right there. AIF's push still concentrated on the front end, pushing on that as much as possible. Defense, though, I don't know if a recon just went over because actually got in a red zone there. Highlight that. That squad leader VK has been chopped down, so that opportunity has been extinguished. And AIF is left with just throwing waves and waves directly at Hospice. Now, you do have time. I'm going to say Shell Ridge connects on a few. One there. You do have time to work a little bit more for positioning. This isn't a desperate mode yet, but AIF now throwing all that action out there, and in fact it's starting to work as cap progress for AIF has been initiated. Entice inside the building here, going against Papa Kiwi. Who's gonna win this one? Sorry,
it's a few,
Entice.
it's Ollie and Wit.
Yep. Oh, mugshot takes down.
Wow,
Major
Kiwi.
Crane. AT rocket as Kiwi goes in, but Kiwi luckily dodges it. Hospice with cap progress going back, but we've seen this multiple times in the game so far. AIF closest they got is right around 90% cap, but they're moving closer and closer into it. Are we going to see the spawn wave from HFKT that we're seen before? Remember, one difference of this is they don't have that northern garrison, so there's a little bit more time for them to travel to that strong point.
Trades or Lacoli just got mugshot and Papa Kiwi.
Yeah.
Died to a grenade. Artillery is making itself known.
They're coming through the fields to the north, through the wheat field.
So the Americans are dropping supplies directly on the point. Are they going to try and get a garrison on the point?
Maybe trying to save it preemptively to get, I don't know, maybe thinking you can get this, we'll get secure right away.
A strafe by Garrison 4 takes it, I think, at least 2 or 3 of the enemy. Although there is a nice little spawn by Keltith squad up here in the north, in the field.
Yeah.
But they are coming up with Tiger and multiple HFKT.
So that last wave of AIF attackers from the eastern side or right side of your screen gets chopped down, which stops the cap progress. We're going to wait for them to come back in, although they're going to be able to get into a strong point. You see one support level coming from the smoke and quickly gets chopped down by McFly and Fried Chicken.
AIF and
Go ahead.
Sorry, the AIF and HFKT guys are spawning within 30 meters of each other up here in the north.
Yep.
Hold that hot point.
Contact happening down south. I mean, it's just pure pandemonium as lines. There is no front line at this point. It is just.
HFKT actually got some cap right on Cemetery.
Let's take a look at that real quick. And it's not just some, it's healthy. It's healthy amount. In fact, we actually see a spawn wave of AIF come in as this probing attack by 4 men might be just enough to buy some time. HFKT's best ally right now is that clock.
Absolutely,
Waiting to see.
absolutely.
Pell let loose, supported by Pung coming up from the south side. And I like this move by AIF, or sorry, by HFKT. I like, you know, this being really a force multiplier. They don't know what's starting this cap progress, so they send a significant amount of their spawn wave coming back. And now these guys, you know, they're gonna quickly clear this up. But these guys are either gonna have to redeploy or stay back here, fill it out a little bit more, which pulls that much more off their attackers. And HFKT, I mean, I think on this fight, to summarize what we've seen so far, AIF, for the majority, has been winning the one-on-ones, but HFKT is working better as far as a cohesive unit to in the right locations on the map, and that's really been the difference of this one so far.
Yeah. We actually had a fantastic individual effort by the HFKT member Detonator down in the south. He found the enemy OP, eliminated 3 members, and then took the OP out. So it's a fantastic individual effort.
Nice. That's always a good moment. So AIF, go ahead.
Constant pressure by AIF. It's so impressive. That it's like they're out of resources, they're out of armor, everything, but they're still constantly putting pressure on this circle. Very impressive.
Indeed. And it's just the meat grinder. You gotta get in. You gotta get on the meat grinder. But you know, it's the finesse of attacking in multiple angles. And I think that's one thing that we're starting to see. You know, AIF did so well at the beginning there with a few of their squads. Now they're having to push a little bit more people in the body. If it lost a couple of options, you know, it's now going more into that kind of one-dimensional attack. I say that, but it's still got some depth. I mean, you got the main push coming into the courtyard right there in the middle of the screen. You got a northern element also happening up there in the pizza slice, and then trying to get into the southern side, but this sticky HFKT squad is just not letting anything come into that southern courtyard. With that said, bombing run goes down. That is HFKT bombing run. Interesting enough, throwing more resources to the attack, and if that bombing run now at the 8-minute mark, that's going to be HFKT's last bombing run. Interesting move. Not sure if I would say, you know, with Cemetery not being a victory condition, I don't know if I would use a bombing run in that scenario, but you know, it puts more cap pressure back there.
Story on the building across the road.
Actually, AIF are getting in here in the north. They're penetrating through the lines.
Yep.
There's no 18 near this Tiger.
No cap progress yet by AIF. Significant amount of defenders from HFKT in the active sector and in the strong point.
Yeah, we definitely will. Yep, bombing run.
Let's see, we got an MG player coming out of the northern side. Quickly gets chopped down there by Calbrera. Battle happened around Bot John, using every little bit of that engagement. Pinned down by an MG. Last of his guys left, but also pinned down between it. You ever been stuck between an MG and a Tiger? That's just a bad point in your life.
That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, it gets turned into applesauce. And this, and I want to show, this is reason why the courtyard, yes, you can secure, but to what end? You see 90 and Anger have gotten all the way through the courtyard, but now pinned down because of that 3-story building, the great line of sights happening there. Ollie, Hawks also taking as much cover as they can. Hawks covers Alley's back. Ollie watching south, Hawks watching north. Great teamwork happening there. Cap progress does start to tick though for AIF, and we're at 6.5 minutes left. So all the clocks on the all the clocks in play right now. If AIF's able to continue this cap progress, and here comes the bombing run, perfectly timed for AIF. He does connect on a few one. That's definitely going to help the cap pressure. Though 3 defenders still in that 3-story building. They got to clear out this 3-story building if they want to have a chance here. Suppressed fire right there by Loco. Love seeing that. Kendrick's trying to get the shots out there. Is he able to connect? He's looking, misses one on the car. Misses a second one. He's going to want that one back. Oof. AIF clears the 3-story building as he misses a few shots. And a best of 3 series like this, would it be more fitting to come down to the last minute of a 90-minute match, right? Cap progress continuing to go to AIF. Yep, Tiger did go down. In fact, that Sherman, this is the last one of it, is in the wheat field. Oh, takes down the AT player. Oh, the satchel goes off, knocks down him. This might be the one.
This might be the cap, yeah. Oh my lord.
Great play by that Sherman, knowing that all the stakes on there, gets in behind that Tiger, takes it out. The HFKT now, this is the first time we've really seen it, but they're regulated to just now 1 sector, that bottom left one. Are they able to do it? They are. Oh, wow, they get back into the 3-story. AIF cap pressure has stalled. HFKT swarming again. The swarm of orange players is just happening.
Oh. The artillery as well. The artillery is definitely a point of contention.
Lambert gets out of the street, comes out at the wrong time as that Sherman is looking to push through. Artillery from HFKT also coming in. Ricochet on that Sherman. Cap progress degrading here for AIF. Actually, we're at 4 minutes, still plenty of time.
We know they're coming west and north, fellas. Come on, we know. Let's go.
AIF throwing everything into that point. No defenders. They've pulled the goalie as look at this line of OPs. This is going to be huge. If HFKT isn't able to get back there, those 20-second spawn timers are going to be huge. Meanwhile, HFKT's got, I'm going to assume, let's see if we can get a count here. Actually, Cheese King is moved up, but all these spawns back here for HFKT. If Cheese King, no, he's dead. Never mind. He's not going to be doing anything.
Oh, the art just took out 4 or 5 in one salvo.
Yep. You got to get into those buildings, get out there, disperse a little bit more. Cap progress is continuing now. Been regained for AIF. This 3-story building, Major Pain. We've said his name multiple times this morning or tonight, depending what time zone you're watching this in. Shaza suppresses the window. Major smartly moves to another one. Connects on Papa Kiwi. Papa Kiwi, this has been his home. I mean, he's had residency in this 3-story building, and he wants it back. 2 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Cap progress now at 40% and growing. HFKT players coming on the south side. Are they gonna be able to connect with Bot John? Bot John chops down both fried chicken. But no, sorry, it doesn't get Broser. Major John comes back up. It is intense. Mugshots now in the building.
Panther's charging in the point. Look at this.
Charging the point. Now where was that Sherman? Did that Sherman get chopped down?
Down.
Okay, so no response back for that Panther. One rocket on the backside of that Panther. Panic's looking to connect on second one. He's gonna have to poke out, expose himself a little bit. Does it? It looks like it does get the connection, but doesn't happen.
They're still capping.
Oh, another hit, but that Panther doing everything he can. Still capping. We're down to the final 2 minutes. AIF, all bodies going in on that 3-story building. I mean, this is just a meat grinder. This is just grit right now. Panther does go down.
Might be a chance.
Zane Ganger throws in for a rocket. We're at 80%, approaching 90. 90 seconds left. I mean, if AF pulls this off, HFKT doesn't have enough time to get this back. Wow. AIF cap progress still happening down to the final 5%. Are they gonna flip it here? Down to the minute. It's done. It's done. And the screams go out in command chat. AIF, freaking just determination finally gets in, but oh my God, the swarm by HFKT. It just was amazing on this one. Right on.
It really hurt HFKT. There was that bombing run on Cemetery.
Yep.
Could have really used it there. They would have taken out AIF attack.
Yep, I think both teams are going to be able to, obviously watch this on admin cam. It's easy for us to, see, okay, we would have done this different or things of that nature. But, I mean, that decision right there to throw those resources on I don't know how you want to say it, a probe attack when you know the victory conditions hospice. I'm sure the commander is going to be, thinking about that one tonight as he goes to sleep. But AIF now just rolling right in, all those spawns cleared out. This is essentially a victory parade complete with explosions. Screams going out in AIF command chat. One hell of a game. One hell of a series.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Fantastic conclusion of the series. It really is a shout out to AIF. They were out of resources, they were out of everything, and they still pulled it off just by dogged determination.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and see we'll see some of these top squads. Major Jam, his squad throwing out 2,500, looking for the top squad on that one. Looking at the HFKT side, as soon as we get done, hey, and I get to level up. I'm almost level 200. You can see on the stream. So as a player in admin cam, I technically do count as an active player. So I got to see a great battle and earn 6,000 XP. So thank you, HFKT and AIF. But let's go back to the scoreboard and see this. Garrison Ford, love the name, from HFKT. Definitely an experienced commander at level 256. I don't want to nitpick that move. He'll watch this, he'll hear that. But let's go ahead and see from HFKT before they get out of here. who our top squads were. Looks like Lambertron, right around 1900. Papa Kiwi, we saw him being on defense a decent amount. And to me, it's no surprise that an HFKT defensive squad might have the most kills or combat efficiency because AIF just never let go of the attack. They never let go of it.
No, well, definitely. Like, it was really a clash of styles. With both teams having limited competitive experience, I think what we can define from both these games here is that AIF are definitely are best on the attack. They have a great way of moving constantly around the map, attacking from different angles, and just really changing the avenue of attack constantly, which is something which is not easy. It's really not easy to do. You know, like you'll have if the north push isn't working, they transition to the south. They got directly into that cap point, did a fantastic job. And then when the south didn't work out, they pushed the north again. The only spot they really could do was the west, but we
saw that through a majority of the fight, but there at the end, it was just go. Now, granted, it wasn't all through one avenue, but they took all 50 players, they pulled the goalie, if you will, to do a little bit of hockey reference there, and they connected on the north side, they connected on the south, they kept trying to get the pressure, but essentially, it was a full frontal push, and it worked out for them. And getting control of that 3-story building, critical, getting the fights. But I mean, everybody, I think, I'd love to go back and I think I'm going to watch the replay myself. I want to say, we had 80 people within 100 meters of each other, or 200 meters. It was just crazy. So, let's go ahead and talk from HFKT. You were watching the admin cam on their perspective. What do you think that was there really a strong advantage or strong moment that stood out for you on HFKT?
For me, it was the way they reacted to the offensiveness of AIF, especially when in the past game, Keltith and VK really had carte blanche at the back of the point. They would put up garrisons, OPs, and that would lead to the fall of a sector. Sorry, the fall of the point. One thing that was really great to see was Zhang Ganger and Recon and Roxo, his sniper, positioning behind the point, watching for this. And when AIF were pushing in, you would constantly see the Recon squad and another squad spawn at the garrison behind them and counterattack through there and take out the OPs and squad members. That was really good to see from the HFKT perspective.
Indeed. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the AIF tankers because everybody, we talk about the snowball effect. We talked about, we were pulling up the resources because that to me was a critical point of, is AIF going to be able to keep all their resources and to the end of the game? And they did, and I want to give credit to the tankers because really the biggest one for that is going to be on the tanks. If they were sloppy with their tank play, they weren't able to get up to there. Yes, they generated throughout, but their tank staying up there, being aggressive at critical moments. We saw that light tank take out the Panther at the very beginning. We saw the Sherman come in behind the Tiger in the field. We saw the on right above Hospice. We saw the 76 at distance taking out the tanker. So definitely a lot of credit to AIF tankers for that. The control also from AIF to focus on that defense. HFKT never really, I don't think we ever really saw too much more than 2 squads attacking the cemetery. And the reason we didn't see that is because they had to be true to AIF's offense so much. I was actually thinking, I was kind of thinking about this, and we got to the tail end moment. I think AIF missed an opportunity with that transport truck at the very beginning to drive that all the way in the point. Instead, they dropped them off early, try to get something on that. When you have an advantage like that with the transport truck at a spawn that lines up with it, you got to take that all the way home. I think that could have been the difference between AIF getting the cap first as opposed to HFKT. Ultimately, it worked out for AIF. And Von, I think the series ultimately worked out for the Australian scene.
Absolutely. I mean, in the end, regardless of who wins, obviously it's nice for your team to win. I would have preferred HFKT to win, but in the end, the Australian scene is just starting to bud. You know, we're really trying to. This is what one of the originally these matches were just going to be some private scrims, no advertising, just try and work towards it. And then we thought, let's try and move the Australian team forward and share this fantastic thing, just to show that Australians can compete with the rest of the world. We are unknown generally in the whole loose scene, but I guarantee you will see more of us.
I don't know about that. The production that you guys are putting out, the content, the way you're supporting the community, AIF showing great determination here. I expect to see more and more of you guys happen on that one. But I would love to broadcast any of these matches going forward. Von, HFKT, I appreciate you guys hosting this, at least on the server here. Congratulations to AIF. Von, final thoughts?
No, just a congratulations for both, and just thank you, mate, for hosting this for us. Adds a bit of star power to this match.
Stop it.
Although you're getting some ungodly hour after only 2 hours sleep, I do appreciate it. I look forward to watching this video back and seeing my facial expressions as certain trades happen. But again, thank you so much, mate. This has been a lot of fun. I hope we get to do this again.
And for everybody here, we appreciate you. Hope to catch some more. Remember, you got the Greyhound Cup still active. You have 7th Cav, ISAP, the International Association of Suicide Prevention. Some great battles there. Love to see the HLL competitive team or competitive scene flourish. Love to see it flourish worldwide. And I love you guys checking in and the stream. So take care, and I will see you next time.